and that was his job. Now, when would he do this? So, b'chol yom, again, every day, in a regular weekday, tarmin et hamizbeach b'kriyat hagever o samuchlo. You'd be torim the mizbeach, you clean off the mizbeach, b'kriyat hagever, at the time when, well, literally speaking, the man calls out, is a little translation of kriyat hagever. Kriyat obviously is a calling out. The gever is either a person, a special crier, who is set aside to look out, as the Mishnayot described later, wait for the sun to rise, and when it does, cry out to everybody that it's sunrise and time to start the day and start the avodah. So on a normal day, the Trumat Hadeshen would wait until that point. They wouldn't do the Trumat Hadeshen until the Kriyat HaGever, O Samuchlo, or right around it, right around that time, basically right around the time when it would start getting light outside. That is when the Trumat Hadeshen was done. But that was on regular day. Bein milfanav, bein milfanav, bein la'acharav. Sorry, samuchlo means next to it, next to this time of Kriyat HaGever. Bein la'fanav, bein la'acharav, whether it be a little bit before or a little bit after, so around that time, but not necessarily the exact time. But B'Yom HaKippurim, on Yom HaKippurim mechatzot. On Yom HaKippurim, that act of Trumat Hadeshen was not done at the normal time at the beginning of the day. Rather, it was done at Chatzot. Why is that true? So, seemingly, the Kohen Gadol has to do this, right? He's the one who has to, he was the one, at least according to some of the Mefarshim, the Kohen Gadol is the one who has to do this, and therefore, since he has so much avodah to do on the day of Yom Kippur, if we make him wait until the beginning of the day, so that would add another piece to the avodah of Yom Kippur, and that would make it even harder than him. It's already a very busy, very difficult day, as we've described, to do all the avodah on Yom Kippur. If you add the Trumat Hadeshen, it makes it harder, and therefore Chazal came along, even though normally the Trumat Hadeshen went until the morning, they would allow him to do it from Chatzot, from midnight of the night before, in order to allow him to be able to properly do all the korbanot, at the proper time. Okay. Others maintain it wasn't necessarily the Kohen Gadol who would do it. It could be other Kohanim, but it would take him a long time for the Kohanim to do it, and therefore the Kohen Gadol would have less time to do his own avodah on Yom Kippur. So either way, in order to allow for the Kohen Gadol more comfort, not to squeeze him in on the day of Yom Kippur, to make him feel like he has enough time to do all the avodah, you do the Trumat Hadeshen earlier. Okay. The Mishnah continues. Once we're talking about when to do Trumat Hadeshen, and in particular the exceptions to the rule, such as Yom Kippur, Uver Regalim, and on holidays, on the Shalosh Regalim, so then not only would you not do it from the morning, not only would you do it from Chatzot, you could even do a Me'ashmoret Harishonah, from the first Ashmorah, the first section, the first watch, literally, of the night. The night is divided, the Gemara Brachot describes, into 3 sections, and here we're saying after the first section of the night passes, so then it's considered close enough to the next day that the Kohen Gadol could go already and start doing the avodah. Start doing the Trumat Hadeshen, because not for Yom Kippur, this is for Regalim, for the Regalim. Why Regalim so special? So we know the Regalim, all of Bnei Yisrael would come to Yerushalayim, and all of Bnei Yisrael would have korbanot to bring. They'd have their korbanot chovah, korbanot dava, those are they're obligated to bring. Their korban re'iyah for seeing the Beit HaMikdash, and all the korbanot based on which holiday it was and how many people, etc., etc. But very often, someone lived far from the Beit HaMikdash, whenever they had a korban to bring, so they couldn't just get up and go. It was a long trip. So they would wait till the next regel, and then they would bring it. So if that's the case, and all the regalim were very, very, very busy times, if the Trumat Hadeshen has to wait till the morning, that would be that all these korbanot, get pushed off, and we don't want to do that. So therefore, we do it from the Ashmora Rishona. Good. The Mishnah concludes, "V'lo hayta kriyat hagever magat ad shahayta azara malaya miyisrael." And the Kriyat HaGever, again, this time called Kriyat HaGever, the time when either a man would call out, as we said earlier, meaning a special man whose job it was to see when it gets light, to look out for the light, or, according to some means, a rooster. That it was a rooster's job, as we know, roosters crow when the sun comes out. So therefore, from that time of Kriyat HaGever, so it would never, let's read that line again. Lo hayta Kriyat HaGever magat, the time of Kriyat HaGever would not reach at the beginning of the day, ad shayta hazara mele'a Yisrael, until the hazara, the courtyard of the Beit HaMikdash, was already filled of Jews. Jews are already streaming into the courtyard of the Beit HaMikdash, and it would be completely filled. It's unclear from the context of the Mishnah, the different opinions, if this line is talking just about the Regalim, or if it's even talking about Yom Kippur. On the one hand, we've been learning about Yom Kippur mostly, which would make it sound like this is also Yom Kippur. That's what the Mishnah is about. On the other hand, the line right before was describing the Truma Hadeshin on the regular Regalim, so it's possible it's part of an extension of the of this idea of what would happen on all the Regalim in terms of when you do the Truma Hadeshin. So it's sort of explaining to us that, hey, we can't do the Truma Hadeshin on the regular time, because by the time the morning comes, it's already full of Jews eager to bring their Karbanot. You can't start doing a separate Avodah of Truma Hadeshin until everyone to wait. So therefore we allowed you to do the Truma Hadeshin way earlier, and by the time the morning comes, we are absolutely guaranteed that that is taken care of, and we can start the regular Avodah. Okay, so again, the Kohen Gadol stays up. We keep him up using all the different methods, the banging, the putting the feet on the floor, dancing, whatever you say. And then we talked about the Truma Hadeshin, the mitzvah of removing the ashes from the Mizbeach, and how on Yom Kippur that would be done by probably, for some opinions, that would be done by the Kohen Gadol, and since that would be done by the Kohen Gadol, he would have to do the Truma Hadeshin earlier in order to allow him enough time to do everything else during his day. And the Galim also, another example of a time when we allow you to do the Truma Hadeshin earlier in order to allow for the other parts of the Avodah of that day to get done. That concludes Parak Aleph.